Hello, my royal lovelies, and welcome back to the channel. As always, welcome to my home. Today I have a few stories that I would like to talk about. Now, no sooner had I filmed, recorded, edited, uploaded my video yesterday about, of course, the Princess of Wales being discharged from hospital. Now, I do think that discharged is a far more correct word than released. Released makes it sound like prison, and I think a lot of newspapers have been saying that they've been released, the King's been released, the Princess of Wales has been released. No, they have been discharged. A much more appropriate word that I thought of immediately after I'd made yesterday's video. Anyway, the King has finally been discharged from hospital. He stayed in for 3 nights for a little bit of rest and recuperation, visited numerous times by his wife, the Queen Camilla, but now, and also he left with Queen Camilla, so she actually came back for his discharge. So yes, she has been by his side throughout this routine ordeal, I suppose you could kind of call it. Routine because it was a benign treatment, a treatment for a benign enlarged prostate. And the King is very happy that men have actually been checking out, what they can do to find out about their prostate. So it really has raised awareness of the issue, which I think is using your kind of soft power and soft influence for the greater good. So we thank King Charles most definitely for that, but he has been discharged. Now, I've heard little rumours that he has not gone anywhere other than Clarence House at the moment. So, there's a bit of speculation, where will he spend the most of his recuperation? Could it be Burgh Hall in Scotland on the Balmoral estate? Could it be Sandringham? Could it be Windsor? Could it even be Highgrove? Who knows? But at the moment, we kind of know that he spent his first night out of hospital at Clarence House in London. So, probably I would imagine that's the kind of closeness to the hospital that he stayed in, but also close to the centre of all the action to kind of catch up on some work. I imagine he is catching up on his red boxes in earnest. He doesn't really like to be down for very long, and he is known for working tirelessly late into the night, writing his notes, writing his letters, signing his papers. So a tireless workhorse cannot be stopped, and the King most definitely will continue. So just like I said yesterday, on behalf of myself and all of the Royal Reviewer viewers, we wish the King a very speedy recovery. And we'd like to thank Queen Camilla for being a rock. I mean, normally, I suppose, being someone's rock or someone's strength and stay is something that we don't really see in public. Yes, we've seen, for example, the Duke of Edinburgh, the late Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, always by her late Majesty's side, and we've seen Queen Camilla by King Charles's side for decades. But this was really seeing it in action. We saw the devotion, we saw the love on display. She did not have to go all those times. She didn't have to be there for the discharge, but she wanted to, she chose to. I think the King almost needed her to be. And it just goes to show that actually, this kind of love story that we so often hear much about, these kind of fairy tale love stories, they're often there below the surface, and it just takes a few little incidents for them to become really visible. And that most definitely, I think, was love, devotion, being a strength and stay, being a rock on display, full front and centre stage. So we do thank Queen Camilla for, just being devoted. I mean, that's basically what I think it was. We saw a picture of devotion, of love. And to me, it goes to prove that it was right for the King and the Queen to marry when, of course, the king was Prince of Wales. Most definitely. I mean, there was a lot of debate about it at the time. You know, should they, shouldn't they? Was it too soon to Diana's passing? Would this kind of ghost of Diana sort of overshadow the marriage? But no, it has not. And okay, I'm not going to talk about Diana and Charles's relationship in this video. I've spoke about it numerous occasions on this channel over the past 8 years that I have been on YouTube. So long-term viewers will know my position and my stance on the sort of Charles, Diana, Camilla sort of triangle, if you like, the third person in the marriage. So maybe I'll talk about it again in the future, but you all know pretty much my stance on that. So I wish the king a very, very speedy recovery. So the next thing that I want to talk about is Queen Mary's doll's house and literacy. So Queen Camilla, very, very big supporter, even as Duchess of Cornwall. She is a huge supporter of literacy, and in particular British literacy. Queen Mary's doll's house, a completely separate entity, is stored on display at Windsor Castle. I have seen Queen Mary's doll's house in person. In fact, it was around about February last year, where I went to Windsor. I have a vlog of going to Windsor Castle on my other channel, Elliot and Matt. So I have seen Queen Mary's doll's house up close and personal. It is huge. Let me tell you something for nothing. I'll pop some footage on the screen of Queen Mary's doll's house. It is absolutely ginormous. It is the biggest, most magnificent, most splendid doll's house I have ever seen in my entire life. It's just enormous, and it has multiple floors, decorated absolutely gobsmackingly gorgeous. That is how it is. The little miniature everything, little miniature cookware, plates, dishes. The lights are electric. There's running water. There's a garden down below. There are miniature crown jewels. It is absolutely resplendent. And it always makes me think of The Borrowers by Mary Norton, the book. And there's also the film adaptation as well. TV or film, I can't remember. But there is, a visual adaptation as well. It makes me think of The Borrowers and how lucky, if you were a very teeny tiny person, to live in Queen Mary's doll's house. You would be in the lap of luxury. There's even a car garage with cars, and the list is absolutely endless. And there are already miniature books in Queen Mary's doll's house collection. But Queen Camilla wanted to kind of update and have a selection of books that represent the here and the now, the 2020s, I shall say. I don't want to peg it completely to 2024. But she wanted to represent the here and now and update that collection. So for this month, I do believe, or possibly this sort of season, items of Queen Mary's doll's house, some existing items have been taken out or on display, with the addition of 20 new miniature books to add to the collection. They have been handmade, they have been handwritten, and they are just absolutely gorgeous, and they represent the here and the now. One book, I should note, is actually by Queen Camilla's son, Tom Parker Bowles, and of course it is about cookery. He is a humongous foodie and has had numerous, articles and things written about his work with food. So I think she was paying him a little bit of homage, and it was nice, of course, for Tom Parker Bowles to be involved in his mother's project. So he has a book there too. And I just think it's really, really good for, Queen Camilla to be supporting literacy in this way. In a world where, everyone's scrolling and, reading is still important. You still need to be able to read, things. But to actually sit down with a book and just completely immerse yourself in one singular thing to improve our levels of concentration, I think is vitally, vitally important. So we applaud again Queen Camilla for this initiative. Is it going to set the world on fire? No. Is it something that's going to be important long term? Absolutely. In years to come, in 100, 200 years time, people will be looking at Queen Mary's doll's house and will be seeing the literature that has been added by Queen Camilla today. And we'll be, thinking about the sorts of things and topics and themes and interests that we have today. Never forget that today is always tomorrow's history. So, people looking back will be able to look back fondly on this new addition to Queen Mary's Doll's House. I think it's absolutely fabulous. The little books are exquisite, really, really exquisite. And I cannot wait to go back to Windsor Castle and see the new edition. Right, another thing that I wanted to talk about, and this idea came to me at the very, very end of my holiday. So as you know, I have been away since the 10th of January. I did a pre-cruise stay in San Juan, then we had a 2-week cruise, and then there was the travel journey back. Anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. What I want to talk about is royal tours, and I have come back from my cruise where we had many, many, many ports. We had 5 ports on the first cruise and we had 4 on the second, plus the pre-stay. On each port, we had excursions booked that had multiple, if you like, engagements. I'm trying to link it to royal tours. So, for example, I could start off visiting a church, and then we visited a botanical garden, and then we visited a hill fort, and then we visited local people at the beach and local shops. It was a full day. And my point is that by the end of the 2-week holiday, tour of the Caribbean, if you like, we were absolutely exhausted. It was so tiring. And I didn't even have to worry about how I looked, or, that the hair was on point, or the clothes were immaculate, or that I didn't have to do any speeches, I didn't have to attend any dinners, any galas, any state banquets, I didn't have to open anything. And when you think about when a royal goes on a foreign tour for 2 weeks, you think, oh, it's just easy breezy, and they've got everything arranged. I mean, okay, I had arranged excursions. It was still absolutely exhausting. I am tired. I have never ever had kind of this level of tiredness coming back from a holiday or a vacation, as people say in the States. I feel like I have this new appreciation of how tiring it is for the royal family when they go on these organised, tours on behalf of the British government. It is exhausting. And I just wanted to kind of comment on that, really, because I don't think, unless you've had this kind of really busy schedule, I don't think you kind of understand. And also the heat as well, the heat zaps you. I have a new appreciation of Queen Camilla, and now I know why she stands there with her parasol, or stays in the car a little bit when it's absolutely so hot. And you feel like just sitting down and doing nothing, but you've got to go here, and you've got to go there, and you've got to do this, and you've got to see this person, and you've got to give this speech and whatever. Thank goodness I didn't have to do any speeches, or I didn't have to worry too much about what jewellery I was wearing, what clothes I was wearing. It's a big undertaking for the royals when they go on tour representing the United Kingdom, to always have to be photo ready, to be picture perfect, to look good in every single video angle. It's exhausting. And I also understand now a little bit about the optics of royal tours. We know about the so-called disastrous sort of PR tour that the Prince and Princess of Wales did in the Caribbean. And I now understand how difficult it is to sort of get that tone right. Because when I was visiting the Caribbean over the last 2 weeks, the people that you meet on all the different islands, and I've visited so many different islands, are so welcoming and warm and friendly, and they genuinely, like you to be there, and they genuinely want to show you their culture, and they want to show you, because they're proud of their heritage, they're proud of, what they've made or created or what they've got to show. and they like you to immerse yourself in their culture. They are very, very welcoming, warm, friendly people. I've encountered that on all the different islands that I visited. And, they want you to try their foods. They want you to sometimes, wear some of the clothes that they've got on display. And when they sort of want you to do that, and you think, oh, if someone just took a picture and it just was a bad optic, you realise how easy it is for something very genuine and warm and friendly and compassionate to be misconstrued into something completely that's not there. Do you know what I mean? It's just so easy. And it made me realise what an undertaking a royal tour is in the organisation, in the presentation, and now with this added element of optics, it's an absolute nightmare to get right. So I just came away with this whole new appreciation. But I have, a real deep now, I think, a much more deep understanding of the Caribbean and the way that the Caribbean fit into the Commonwealth, and for those countries that still have King Charles as head of state. So yes, I now have a real understanding of what it takes to do a royal tour. Ugh, so exhausting. Right, so the next thing I want to talk about is, in the previous video, I mentioned about the spate of burglaries in Montecito, Snake Mountain, and a lot of people were commenting on the fact that they thought, or they'd heard, that Meghan and maybe other royals wear replicas of their own jewellery in public. And I have to say, I have seen absolutely zero evidence of this. I haven't seen any reports of this. And I just think that is completely not true. I think any jewels that, any of the royals wear are the real, genuine article. Harry will have been given at least, half of Diana's jewels. Now, we don't know exactly how much he took with him to the US. Perhaps some pieces were stored in the UK and only sort of accessed on a as and when basis. Maybe both royal wives sort of had access. Then I would imagine that there were some pieces that were doled out to kind of keep permanently. The aquamarine ring being one of them. So no, I do not think that the aquamarine ring that we have seen Meghan wore is a replica. I think she does have the real thing, and I stand by what I said yesterday. It would be an absolute shame if, for example, the aquamarine ring were to be stolen and then completely kind of lost and sort of broken up, and the stones reset and whatever they do when they steal jewellery. So yes, I just wanted to address that. There is no evidence whatsoever that any of the royals wear replica pieces of their own jewellery. So next, a jewellery brand has revealed that during her time as a working royal, Meghan kept some of the gifts that were given to her. Now, of course, I am talking about a pair of diamond earrings that she wore to an engagement in 2019. So this was a female-founded jewellery business, and the owners have revealed that Meghan was sent the jewellery by artificial diamond brand Camilla when she was still a working member of the royal family in 2019. She wore the brand's Felicity earrings, which are sold for £995 when she visited charity SmartWorks headquarters in London. So this comes after Harry revealed in Spare that any kind of gifts that Meghan and Harry received, they would distribute between some of their staff. Now, royals typically are not allowed to keep unsolicited gifts. Slightly different if it is in an official capacity. So, for example, you often see gifts being given when royals are on foreign tours or there are visiting royals, there are exchanges of gifts. They have to be recorded and stored, but they can be used by the royal that they were given to. Or often or not, they are taken out of storage and put on display whenever there is another visit by that nation, for example. Private gifts can be given. Again, they have to be kind of noted. So, for example, if there was a wedding gift, that kind of thing. But typically, unsolicited gifts are not allowed to be kept. This was an unsolicited gift because there were cold call, if you like, emails, and the earrings were sent. Meghan was seen wearing them, and then obviously business was improved for the brand. They then did not have to raise any capital, I think, externally in the way that they were going to. So it basically boosted their brand. And these rules are put in place so it removes that kind of commercial element from the royal. I think what probably should have happened with the earrings, for example, is that they should have been sent back to the brand. They've been given once, worn once, maybe send that back. Next, there's a little bit of news from Archewell. Well, not from Archewell, about Archewell. A mass exodus from the production company. So, I was thinking about Netflix last night, about Harry and Meghan's sort of involvement. And I do think, and this article that's come out today kind of fits in with what I was thinking last night. It's almost as if I've got some kind of supernatural power of prediction. No, I was thinking about Harry and Meghan's multi-year deal, and I do think that when that deal comes to an end, I don't think there will be another multi-year deal for Harry and Meghan. I think Netflix are trying to kind of make the most of their losses, which is why they, the rights have been bought to that book to kind of turn into, it's a kind of last ditch attempt to retrieve something from this disastrous deal. Harry and Meghan have got no original ideas. They don't know how to run a production company, and they can barely produce a bowl of cereal between the two of them. It's just absolutely atrocious. So I think there's going to be a heavy involvement with Netflix creating, this book. I mean, Netflix could have bought the rights to this book anyway. There were no. The truth is, there were no ideas coming out of Archewell, so they had to buy in a book to kind of turn into something tangible. I think we are still waiting on that. I mean, there is the potential that Netflix could ditch Harry and Meghan prior to that and just do it by themselves. I feel like Netflix will be pretty much doing it by itself anyway, and it'll just be Harry and Meghan's name or brand attached to it. I think Netflix will be doing all of the hard work because Harry and Meghan are completely incapable, which leaves me to the conclusion that Netflix are trying to salvage what they can from this. So if in the future they do decide to work with Harry and Meghan, I think it will just be on one-off, ad hoc things. I think we will not see another multi-year deal. If there is a multi-year deal, it certainly will not command the amount of money that has been rumoured to have been secured by the current deal that is in place. So I think it's almost the end of the road for Harry and Meghan when it comes to Netflix. But a linchpin of Harry and Meghan's Netflix series has left the Californian production company, bringing the total number of staff the Sussexes have lost since they married to at least 17. Archewell TV executive Bennett Levine left the company this month and has moved to a US rival in a move described as a serious blow to the couple. He follows his former boss, Oscar-winning producer Ben Browning, who oversaw the couple's Netflix documentary. So his departure came amid uncertainty over their rumoured £80 million deal with Netflix. Of course, that's never been confirmed. The couple's one remaining big money streaming contract. And I don't think it will be remaining for terribly too much long. Yes, I think Harry and Meghan have come to the end of the road when it comes to Netflix. They've certainly come to the end of the road when it comes to Spotify. All of these big corporations, these big companies had high hopes for Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan must have been saying, well, we can do this, we can do that, we can do this. Truth is, they can't do any of it, not by themselves. And Netflix could have bought the rights to that book, made it themselves without, Harry and Meghan at all. Harry and Meghan are just going to sit there, do nothing, and just put their names to it as they usually do. The only thing Harry and Meghan are good at is dissing their own family, cutting their own family adrift, and spewing bile and disdain from Snake Mountain all the way wherever they want to spew it. That is the only thing that they are good at, and we are not falling for it. We don't believe pretty much hardly anything that comes out of the monster of Montecito's claws, and of course the little ginger lapdog that she calls a husband. It's over. It is over. They know it's over. We know it's over. It is just a matter of time. Thank you for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, then please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and of course do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. So from me, until next time, mwah to you all, and goodbye.